I just wanted to bring you up to date on my carnivore journey. I had announced on social media I was going to try this diet, and a lot of you were curious and wanted to see how I made out. So I'm a little over a month into the thing now. I'm about 37 days. And before I get into all the great benefits that I've been experiencing, I'll tell you about some of the rough patches that I had. And I think it's important to do that because you need to understand that this is not something your body is used to, and it's going to take a while to adapt. And you need to trek through the rough patches. You have to. There's no point in even trying this diet unless you're willing to be a little uncomfortable for a period of time before you reach the benefits. So just a little background though, I was on the keto diet for almost 2 years, and I really liked the keto diet, and I started to get a little bit lazy with it. I was starting to bring in a few carbs here and there, beer, summertime, and I think my body was flipping back and forth. If I look at it now, I think it was the keto flu. My body just didn't know what to do based on the food I was putting into it. But at that time, I was starting to experience a lot of digestive issues. So the last 3 months of my keto experience. And I thought, I've got to do something to see if I can fix this. So I actually went back to the standard Canadian, North American diet, 4 basic food groups, which all contained a lot of carbs, pasta, bread, fruit, etc., beer. And I have to say, my digestive issues cleared up almost immediately. So that was a relief. However, I put on 5 pounds like that. And, and I go to the gym quite a bit. So if you're going to the gym on a regular basis and you're still gaining belly fat, your diet sucks. And so I had to find something different. So I just happened to come across, some podcast, I think it was Joe Rogan initially, where I heard about this carnivore diet, and it sounded ridiculous to me too. So for those of you saying, that's crazy, I get it. But after doing that and doing some further research, there's some brilliant minds out there, MDs, professors, scientists, research groups, all backing this diet as a healthy way of life. So it really piqued my curiosity. Now, the other issue I had with it is the moral and ethical issue. I had a problem with, I've seen all the videos. Some people on my Facebook group feel compelled to show all these horrifying things that we do to animals. I guess I'm glad that I've seen them because I can understand why people are upset. I'm upset. I just think it's horrifying that we mass produce, factory produce these animals, and they're essentially tortured their entire life and then murdered. So that's not something I can deal with. But I went out and I found myself a local farmer who raises beef cattle, grass-fed, no added hormones or any of the crap. These animals get a chance to wander around and be cows for like 2 years. And they wouldn't be here for any other reason. So I can live with that. Not everybody's going to share my same ideology on that, but where I'm concerned, that was enough for me. I bought like $500 worth of meat. My freezer's full, and morally now I'm all right with that. So initially, when I started this diet, and I was including things like eggs, heavy cream, some cheese, pepperoni sticks, various things, basically, but all animal products, which is really the integral part of this diet, apparently. You don't want to be still taking in vegetables if you want to go carnivore, because it's 2 different processes your body has to go through. When you're not eating vegetables, when you're not putting fiber into your body actually eliminates some processes, some bacteria, some enzymes, some things that normally used to process all this fiber. And but that showed up pretty early because although, and I did have, for about the first 3 weeks, some digestive issues again. And it was pretty much every day. It was diarrhea, if we're going to dive right in. But I just want to be as candid as I can here so you know what I had to go through. But it wasn't as bad as normally, when you're on a standard diet and you have diarrhea, it's paramount you get to a toilet ASAP. With this, I found I was kind of able to control it, and although again, we're not talking something that's a great thing to have going on with your body, but it seemed easier to manage and way less volume. That's something that I've actually learned as well. So the body takes meat in and it processes mostly all of it, utilizes all of the nutrients and vitamins, etc., that's in meat, breaks it all down. There's very little discharge. With vegetables, it's full of fiber, and so that's where the bulk of material comes from, and so I learned that. The point is, there's an adaptation process. And I actually had a video prepared after about 15 days that I was going to throw out there, but you know what, I didn't have any good news to share, and I wanted to wait until I've made the turn. And at the 30-day mark, almost right on the nose, is when I made the turn. This last week, so it's been 37 days, these last 7 days have been awesome. The total flip side of the first 30. So I encourage you to stay with it, because there is a brighter light at the end of that tunnel, and you will get there, but you got to stick to it. But so that was some of my uncomfortable digestive issues. Like I said, cleared up in about 3 weeks, moving on to a month. Everything's golden now. And it's like every other day you go to the bathroom. Sometimes, maybe 3 days. But you never ever feel bloated or constipated, or you don't get that feeling. Like, I feel lean, I feel great. I've been exercising regularly. I've got a ton of energy this week. So that's the end goal. That's the reason I did this. I wanted to see if there's an extra gear, and I feel like as the days progress, it's only going to get better and better and better. Now, I had a couple of other things that I wanted to share that I don't know if it's the same thing with everybody else, but I'm just going to tell you what happened to me. I had some problems sleeping. I'd wake up like almost every night at about 3 in the morning, and I just couldn't get back to sleep. I'd toss and turn and toss and turn and toss and turn. So for at least a couple of weeks, I had some terrible sleep, which really contributed to my lethargy and feeling lousy and, the keto flu, just feeling not good. So that wasn't good. So the lack of sleep wasn't helping there. 18 days in, it was the weekend just before Christmas. My wife and I were in Toronto. We spent the night there, had a great time, but cheated like crazy. I drank beer, I ate bread, I ate French fries. So that Friday and Saturday, I can't say I've been 100% carnivore for 37 days, because those 2 days, I lost my mind. And I paid for it for a few days following. I kind of retreated back to some of my earlier lethargy, feeling crappy symptoms that I had in the first week. But I did recover a lot quicker. Oh, so eyesight. This was something I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. The things I've mentioned, it seems pretty common. But after like the first week or so, I actually felt my vision diminishing. And since I turned 40, my up-close vision sucks anyways, but I've always been far-sighted, and I can see really well at far distances. But I started to feel my vision blurring. Not brutally. I could still drive. I didn't feel like I was endangering any lives or anything. But it was a little bit concerning. And if that had continued for any length of time, I would have just kiboshed this whole experiment. The good news is, as again, after the 30-day mark, I feel like things are sharpening right up. And I think it's hard to really judge perfectly, but I think my vision is now better than before I started this diet. And I think, like I said, it's all going to continue to get escalated. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, bone broth. So they say it's important to eat a lot of the organ meats, liver, kidney, because of the really condensed nutrient values. Collagen apparently is a very big thing for this diet. I've heard that from a number of experts on the subject. And so bone broth is something that everybody talked about. Hey, let's make some bone broth. It's delicious. Some people drink it just like they would drink a cup of coffee. Well, I made bone broth. I went to my local butcher, got some big beef bones, and normally the recipes would call for a bunch of vegetables to be put in as well. I didn't do that, of course. And it also calls for you to cook it for like 24 hours, 48 hours. So I cooked it for a little over 2 days in a slow cooker in my kitchen. And my kitchen stunk. I really thought initially, okay, this will get better. It'll stew itself somehow and it'll actually smell better. It never really did. And I convinced myself that when it was done and I was actually going to eat it, it would taste better. And it doesn't. I can't even tolerate the smell of it. So whether I did something wrong, I don't know what's the difference between grass-fed beef and grain-fed beef, but it was horrible. So I have 3 jars of bone broth in my fridge, which I'm just going to toss out. Again, other people talking about drinking it like it's the most delicious thing ever. So to each their own. But so anyways, I'm not going to eat bone broth, but I have started sort of a regular regime of eating liver and kidney, which I had never done before. I can't say it's fabulous, but I can get it down, and I only do it like once or twice a week just to get that nutrient value that we've been discussing. And it's not terrible. I can deal with it. I've tried to come up with some pleasant recipes, which always include lots of butter, lots of garlic, salt and pepper, and you can get through it. And I actually feel a day or two after eating the organ meat that my all these advantages that you hear on this diet, hear about on this diet, actually start to come true. And I don't know whether it's specifically the organ meat and the results of that, or it's all a combined thing, but I'm a proponent of organ meat. Never thought I'd ever say that. Some of the things that people talk about, so the reason that I wanted to be carnivore to begin with, the reason I wanted to try this diet, is I didn't really have any physical ailments. A lot of people start this diet because they have a lot of autoimmune issues, skin disorders, depression. There's a whole host of things and reasons why people start this diet. For me, it was more of an experiment. I really wanted to just see, because I had done the keto diet for so long and had enjoyed that, whether I wanted to see whether there was another gear, the rocket boosters. And if you'd asked me a little over a week ago, I would have said, now, and only time will tell in the next few weeks, but now I'm really starting to feel it. And people talk about their skin clearing up. People have had psoriasis for years. Their skin clears up. Their arthritis goes away. Same with keto. People who are type 2 diabetes, you can say goodbye to type 2 diabetes if you do this diet, from everything I've read and all these testimonials from people that I've listened to. Your hair gets thicker. People who have stopped growing hair actually start growing hair again. Your nails, your skin, everything just becomes better. And again, I know it's ridiculous. I do. I thought the same thing. This is crazy. But, when you do your research and you look back at like the Inuit tribes and tribes around the world of people that ate primarily meat, very low instances of cancer, long lives, healthy lives. I mean, you can't argue that. And I would have never thought you could even just eat meat and survive. I would have thought you had to have some green vegetables and things to supplement other nutrients. Turns out, no. Now, I haven't had any blood work done. I do intend on getting some done, but I really want to make sure that I'm acclimated to this diet and that I'm receiving all the benefits of it before I do that. And it'll be interesting to see, but I've listened to a lot of other people who have done this for various lengths of time, including people for years who get their blood work done regularly. Numbers are all good. The cholesterol number does go up, but, and again, I'm not a scientist, but apparently that's not a big deal. It's only It's only a big deal if that is high with a bunch of other numbers. But everything else is beautiful, and people are living long, healthy lives just eating meat. Anyways, I don't want to go on and on and on about this. I just wanted to bring you up to date, tell you that I'm still going strong, and I don't know how long I'll do this. I really don't. It could be a couple more weeks. It could be a couple more months. Only time will tell. Once again, I'm not trying to talk anybody into doing this. I'm just sharing the experience. To me, that's the best knowledge anybody can give, is what somebody did as an experiment with themselves personally, and just share exactly what happened. Your experience could be totally different. But anyways, I'm excited to keep going here. I'm excited to keep feeling more of these benefits and advantages, and I'll put together another video probably at around the 2-month mark, and I'll give you an update. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next video.